I'm Dr. Orion Taraban, and this is Psych Hacks, Better Living Through Psychology. And the topic of today's short talk is humanity changes slowly, if at all. This is something that is useful to keep in mind in the modern age, when social and technological changes have swept across the world at an historically unprecedented rate. It can sometimes feel as though humanity as we know it is becoming increasingly unrecognizable with each passing year. However, this isn't actually the case. And before I explain why, please remember to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It takes less than a second, costs you nothing, and it's how you can support me in my mission to deliver free, high-quality content to the world. So thanks for your help. Back to it. There are many new ideas circulating about how human beings should live and how they should organize themselves. And these new ideas are facilitated by an almost miraculous global technological apparatus which accelerates the whole process dramatically. However, as complex as modern society seems to be, it is still a collection of relationships between and among individuals. So much of what is true about relationships remains true about society. Now, it's sometimes the case that folks can get into really passionate, hot and heavy relationships. In a matter of weeks, they're declaring their undying love for each other and naming all of their unborn children. And just when it seems as though they're on the cusp of some great and perfect union, a few weeks later, the passion burns out, usually in some spectacular conflagration. In relationships, it's easy come, easy go. The ones that burn the hottest and brightest are often the ones that burn for shorter amounts of time. By the same token, belief systems can sometimes be prepotent and predominant in a short amount of time. But, like their passionate romantic counterparts, they often don't last for very long. Maybe a few years, maybe a few decades. The Soviet experiment, for example, lasted 69 years, a blink of an eye in the history of humanity, which is hundreds of thousands of years old in its most mature evolutionary state. To be sure, these passionate political flames can burn fiercely and create a great deal of destruction, but they can't sustain themselves by virtue of their very intensity. There seem to be limits on how quickly humanity can change. The fact of the matter is that humanity changes slowly, if at all. And this is largely due to the fact that some problems of existence cannot be solved, and therefore will always demand much of our time, energy, and attention. These includes the imperatives of biology and the necessities of survival. The criteria for emotional well-being and spiritual fulfillment also don't really change from year to year, as they are deeply connected to the human organism. These things cannot be dispensed with in favor of ideology. For it to preserve, ideology must accommodate itself to these realities. For example, the human race is always, at most, 50 years away from extinction. If no further children were born today, humanity would be functionally extinct in 50 years. And that's a maximum projection. Keep in mind that the bloodiest and most destructive conflict in the history of the world happened only 75 years ago, and that there are people who are alive today who still remember what that was like. We are not an enlightened race. Our institutions, our social, cultural, and political institutions, are not as permanent as they appear. But the problems that they, albeit imperfectly, attempt to solve are issues of survival, aggression, scarcity, well-being are always with us and always will be with us. Acknowledging these realities might spare us some of the devastation wrought by the passion for change, but if they don't, remember that they too will burn themselves out. O snail, climb Mount Fuji, but slowly, slowly. Hopefully that makes sense. Did you remember to like, comment, and subscribe for the algorithm? And please see the About tab for more information on donations, consultations, and sponsorship opportunities. Thanks for listening.